There is a digital shift that is happening currently on YouTube right now where if you set up shop, you will profit for the rest of the generation. I'm not saying this for hyperbole. It is a true fact where now you can funnel millions of dollars with only the attention of a few thousand people that are hyper targeted to what you sell. And so that's why in this video, I'm going to synthesize my 7 years of YouTube experience and how you could do the same thing that I did where I generated over 8 figures for my clients and how you could start doing the same thing for yourself and for your own product. And so the first lesson here is no click, no cure. And what I mean by that is even if your product or your coaching program or your consulting program is the most fundamentally shifting thing that every entrepreneur needs or whatever who you teach to, nobody's going to know you have that unless they click on your videos. And so a classic analogy I always give is even if you have the cure to cancer, nobody's going to know you're going to have the cure to cancer if nobody's clicking on your videos. And so think about it this way. This is the average YouTube feed here, and where you are competing with not only the people in your niche, but you are also competing for the same person's attention when they are also interested in other things. And so you can see here, this is my own homepage where I'm also interested in real estate, but also I'm also interested in geopolitics and also just financial politics as well, and also some lifestyle stuff like FXG Alex here and also Julian. And so, you're not competing only on one niche. You're competing for the entirety of the YouTube sphere. And so think about it this way as well. Right here on my homepage, you have billion-dollar companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, where they are pouring millions of dollars into succeeding on YouTube. For example, we have Wall Street Journal. Guaranteed they have at least 15 people on their staff figuring out where they spend all 24 hours in their day figuring out how to succeed on YouTube. Same thing with Bloomberg. Same thing with Forbes right here. Even CNBC, they probably have a big team to make this happen. And so these are the people you're competing with. So how do you compete against them and win if they're pouring millions of dollars and you're a one-man team? You need to have a group of experts where you have an edge against these kinds of people. For example, I would know best because I have worked with a multi-billion-dollar company, $9 billion, which is publicly listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And they were doing the same thing, and I was enabling them to do that same thing as well, where now they could just get instant views and increase the price of sponsorships, whatever they want to do with that attention. And so these are the people you're competing with. And so this is you, and this is you with a hypothetical cure to cancer, and your audience is saying, who is you? They don't know who you are because you are just scattered in this sea of videos. And so the first thing is testing your thumbnails, making sure that this is the focal point of your first step on trying to succeed on YouTube. As you can see here, this is one of our clients, Bago, where this is just one video. One video, we have tested 8 different thumbnails here. And so from that, the 8 thumbnails, it's not guaranteed that it succeeds. But what it does give us guaranteed is data on how to succeed better with that video. For example, as well, here's an e-commerce brand that we work with. We also tested seven thumbnails, a $9 billion company. We tested 5, and as well, Gabe Bolt here, where we scaled him from 100,000 subscribers to 600,000 subscribers, and also him making 6 figures more as well on his coaching program. We are testing thousands of thumbnails each and every year. And so, like I said, each thumbnail that you post out, you're going to get data from it. So as you can see here, we have just the messaging switch where this video, one of them was be the 1%. The other one is be the 0.01%, and the other one is join the 0.01%. And from there, we got data, right? And so using the word be is a lot worse than using the word join. And using 0.01%, which is a lot more refined, is a lot better than using 1%, right? Same thing here. We have tested this one, and tested this one, right? And then from there, we are adjusting our messaging on the thumbnail to know exactly if we say it this way, we will get a lot of attention. Same thing here. We just tested out different titles on text on the thumbnail, and so broke is a lot worse than using the word poor, and having a lot more words bunched up like this is worse than having it just 4 simple words, right? And we're testing everything out, everything. And so we could get results like this for one client where we're getting him 400,000 new views every month with 17,000 hours of watch time, right? And that kind of results will tectonically shift your business. You will not even just 2x, you will probably more than 5x with that amount of attention if you funnel them properly. And so this is the average viewer's mindset when they are on doom scrolling on YouTube. The first thing that they're going to notice is always the thumbnail. That is just a blatant fact, only because the thumbnail is what gives you the most amount of creativity, right? The title, it's always going to be the same font, it's always going to be the same size, and also it's going to be the same color. There's no boundaries to be more creative with it other than the actual text that is represented on there, right? But the thumbnail, you could use whatever color, you could use whatever layout on the thumbnail, you could use whatever elements on there. This is the first focal point of where you could show your expertise and also your creativity so that you could stand out. For example, if all these videos were if all these thumbnails were black and white and only this one had color onto it, which video would your eyes be more drawn towards? The one with the color, obviously. And theoretically, this is the same approach that you have to take when you're making packaging, right? And then from there as well, a lot of people forget this last part where intro sentences is also a part of packaging. For example, you could just clickbait people with a title and a thumbnail that'll get their attention, but if they watch the first second of the video, realizing it's not what you promised on the thumbnail and title, your retention is going to be shot. And so the video won't get pushed out, right? And so that's why you have to also consider the first few sentences that you say in your video. And so now let's get some actionable steps on how you could actually make better packaging. The first one being use the BENS framework for your titles. BENS stands for big, easy, new, and safe. Big, it needs to promise a big result, big change, anything that you could emphasize and also use for hyperbole. Easy, it has to be easy to understand so that a fifth grader can understand it and understand what this video is going to be about. And the new is that it has to be different from what everybody else is saying. That's just naturally, that's just a fundamental principle for marketing in general, where if you're saying the same thing as 5 other people, you guys are a group of 1. But as soon as one person says something different, they're in their own separate group. And then safe is that you don't want to be too polarizing without intention. Because if you're just being polarizing without knowing it, then you're just segmenting your audience by 50% right then and there. But if you could use it to your advantage. Okay, thumbnail, you just have to consider these 3 things, which is clarity, context, and curiosity. Clarity is people need to understand what this video is going to be about through the thumbnail within the first 1 second of them seeing it, right? People are scrolling real quick when they're on YouTube. So you have to catch their attention, but also you have to explain to them with visuals, right, on what this video is going to be about. Context is you have to segment who you're talking to in that video. For example, for Bigo, we always have some coding element to it, where we have coding, the word coding. We also have coding in the background, right? We also have a lot of tech figures in the thumbnails. That's what you need to have in your thumbnails, is the context part. And the curiosity is don't reveal the entirety of your solution. Always keep a small bit of it secret so that it gives them an incentive to figure out what that last part of the solution is. 3 is use thumbnail strategies. And by this, what I mean is you have to have at least one of these core principles on making thumbnails. The first one is cognitive dissonance. For example, this one worked really well because most coders do believe that the skill of knowing coding is what makes them rich. But then if you take the counter opposite approach, where coding is the reason why they're poor, right? Then you already have polarized them, and they're wanting to figure out why you believe in the stance that you just took, right? And so that's why this thumbnail of using cognitive dissonance works. The next one is before and after. This is just a classic one that you've seen probably time and time again, whether it's in fitness or productivity, anything, where you have a before state and you have an after state, just so it could visually represent what the change could be. This is the result-oriented one, where it shows and signifies what could potentially be happening into your future. If you and if this is the future that you do want, then you would click on it to figure out how you can make this result happen for yourself as well. And then last one is curiosity minimalism. You just just put nothing in there, very minimal, so that it gives a reason for people to figure out why it's so minimal and put context for themselves on what this packaging is. And then from there, match the first 3 seconds. Like I said, don't clickbait people. You're going to get really bad retention, also a bad rep, so that people don't click on your videos in the future. So mention and confirm what the video is going to be about in your sentences, in your intro. Next one is personal pressure test. I mean, you probably are on YouTube enough where your own judgment is not the 100% definitive answer of what's going to happen, but you know what? You probably should trust your judgment and see if you could give yourself some honest feedback. So look at your title, look at your thumbnail, look at your intro, and see if you could optimize it for being it better. 6 is map out the emotion beforehand. So figure out what emotion you want to convey to your viewers first, right? Whether it's a doom and gloom video or it's you want to get them motivated, figure out what that emotional trigger you're trying to give them first, and then try to translate that into a title and thumbnail. 7 is do you understand the thumbnail in 1 second? That it goes back to the clarity part where people just need to understand what this video is going to be about right then and there. And then so let's move on to lesson number 2 is impressions is rent, attention is equity. And so by this I mean I have 2 separate videos here. One has 3.6 million impressions, one is almost 400,000 impressions. And so you would believe that this video, right, with more impressions is the one that got more amount of money for us, and more amount of sales, right? But if I pull the curtains back here, as you can see, this one only generated 200,000, almost 200,000 worth in pipeline value, while this one generated $465,000 in pipeline value. And so how is that possible when this has less impressions and less views than the one above it? This one it almost has 10x the results of this, right? But somehow this one made more money. So that's what I mean about don't chase for views. You're just trying to chase after revenue. Because last time I checked, you can't pay your bills with views. And so this is what I mean by it. This is the example of a loser's person channel. It's non-targeted. They just want to entertain people, and it's not segmented on who it's actually for. So you're just trying to appease everybody and anybody right there. You don't have like an exact ICP in mind, and so it's a lot harder to convert them if you're just talking to a million people that have no commonality, right? Compared to somebody where it's a narrowly defined ICP where you know exactly who you're talking to. You have strategic content pillars on, you know what to talk about, you know what format to put them in so that it sends the same results in the feedback loop over and over again where you could just optimize. 3, you need to have a revenue data tracking infrastructure. Think about it. YouTube's own analytics, they don't care if you make more money from your info product or not. They only care about themselves. They only care about are people staying on the video so that they could give out more ads to them so that they can make more revenue for themselves, right? And so you need to take your own step to map out how you're tracking which videos are making the most amount of money, right? And so as you can see here, this one, it's just a lot of impressions and a lot of views, right? And then this one, not that much. This is what you're looking for. And so the next one, another example here, here's another client. It's a trading client. They offer courses, and this one only got 2.6 thousand views, but they make a lot more revenue than just putting out a lifestyle video about trading. It's just naturally how it's going to work. And so this is naturally the feedback loop that you're looking for. You have your target audience, right? You want them to click on your video. You want them to watch it. They're going to get nurtured through it over and over again because you're going to set up the videos where they watch one video and they're going to get sent off to another one. And I'll explain that process a little bit more later on in this video. and then they actually buy your product, and then that algorithm has a positive feedback loop so that it targets more of your target audience, right? And this is the feedback loop that you are going for. Okay, the third and final lesson is that YouTube is the new age of cold callers, right? So previously in a regular company, you're going to have a setting team like this where you have a bunch of people manning the phone, sending out emails, and you have one person overlooking that entire operations. When you have this, you have so much operational drag because you are managing 5 different people, right? But now in the new age, now these videos are your own cold callers. For example, this one video, it's got 2,000. It's basically dialed 2,000 people. This video has dialed 3,000 people. This dialer has called 24,000 people, so on and so forth, right? And so this is what I mean. This is the new era of appointment setting, because from there it all funnels down into your landing page, right? And then for them to book a call. And then this is the results that we got for Bigo, where we have 55 bookings, where the average person is making around $5,000 to $10,000 per month. We have 25 bookings where they make $10,000 to $50,000 per month, and now we also have 9 bookings where they make more than $50,000 per month. And so you could get these results if you just got an appointment setting team, gave them a 10,000 contact list, and then from there they would just call them. It wouldn't even be 10,000 because we reached more than 10,000 people, but we didn't have to because we would just make the videos and it would essentially be appointing making the appointments themselves through that video. And you don't need to manage it. All you have to do is just post it once, let it fly, and that's it. And so, how do you use the algorithm to boost the efficiencies of your video setters? Video setters being these, right? And so, how you do it is one, stay on the same topic over and over again. You want to talk about the same things so that you just develop the same ICP that you're going after. Two, have a consistency in your packaging so that people can recognize who you are, so that next time they do see your face, they come back and click on it, even if your packaging isn't dialed in. 3 is viewer behavior consistency. Figure out what they do, and so that you could do the same thing over and over again. So in practice, this is what it looks like. For your topical consistency, it is having a mission statement like, I help your ICP achieve whatever results that you promised them by solving the problem that's preventing them from achieving that result. Packaging consistency is making the topic clear and gain the interest only of your ICP. So as you can see here, this one, it's edited, right? Should you make it edited? Not edited, right? Is what's the tone in edit? Unedited. This guy, Daniel Isles, he does speak very monotone, and he's very, not enthusiastic. And so naturally, the packaging will match that. It's not busy and loud. See, I don't know who this person is, but from the one video that I did watch, it is edited, and so that's why the thumbnail also, it looks like it's going to be edited as well. Also, figure out what language you're trying to target, right? You wouldn't have English if you're trying to speak Russian to people. And also, what kind of which age demographic are you going for? If you're going after kids, just copy what Mr. Beast is doing. It's working well for kids. But if you're going for older people, figure out what works for older people and what the art looks like on the thumbnail. And also, what's the job? Are you targeting for marketing people? Put marketing in there. If you're targeting software engineers, put software engineers in there. And so that's what consistency in your packaging should look like. And then as well, viewer behavior is map out what your customer's journey is going to look like. Are they going to watch your video? How many videos do they have to watch before they turn into a booked meeting, right? And then from there, it's a lot easier. And so going back to what I was saying previously, this is the average customer journey that we go through for Bigo, is that we get them to watch one video where they're not problem aware, and then at the end of it, we don't send them to the landing page, we send them off to the next video, which makes them solution aware. And then from there, we make them another motivational, and then so on and so forth, so that we're racking up watch time. We're also racking up in the algorithm's trust score. And as well, at the end, we could just fire off a golden bullet where it converts all these people that just watched all these, because they're pre-nurtured and they also trust the client. And so, for example, this is what we do. This is how we analyze this. So coding keeps you poor. That is a banger. Cognitive dissonance. As well, we have a minimalistic thumbnail where it's just pretty simple, nothing going crazy around. You can't tell that it's edited that much. And then we also have ICP callouts where we have coding on there. We also have software engineering in the title. And also we have a coding environment where a lot of software engineers could relate to. And as well, we have video expectations so that 7 years of advice synthesized into a few minutes. Same thing like you're watching right now. And so that is essentially what has been going on and how to get better. Oh, look at that. I didn't even know I had a fourth lesson. And so the fourth lesson is iterate on revenue and not views. And so getting views is actually very easy. It's not a secret. All you have to do is just copy what else is working on other people's. So for example, I'm not that married to having the sauce on what makes the views go up. So I'm just going to give it to you in this video anyways. So as you can see here, for all of our clients, we have one of our videos. The title is just have the desired result as a, and then your ICP. And so that's in your 2020, whatever year it is, guide, right? So for this one, it's how to get rich as a solo software engineer, 2025 guide, right? That's a 9.5x outlier, and that made us a lot of money. For example, another one here for e-commerce company that we work with, best niche for, and then whatever the category is, the 2025 guide, right? So this one was best water filters for every budget, 2025 guide, right? Same thing here. I studied niche, and here's what made them, and then whatever desired result that they want. This one was a 78x outlier. This one, it works for every niche. I have seen it, like from my personal self. And so as well, 4.7x outlier, beginner's guide to whatever niche in 2025. And it's the same thing here, how to actually start in niche 2025. Okay. And so these are the results that we're getting for our clients. We have 500,000 people clicking. I mean, no, that wasn't even the right number. We have 532 people clicking on his landing page in 30 days. And that is very low compared to us. This is slumped numbers. And then from here, we also have 7 people booking calls in 7 days, right? Oh, not even booking calls. It's people that are purchasing. And so from there, we track all our data. It's all here so that you could do the same thing. So if you're wanting to implement the same data infrastructure and also have all of this implemented into your own coaching business so that all you have to do is just work 2 hours a day to get qualified booked meetings on autopilot, just like this new era of setters, then book a meeting with me down below and I'll look forward to seeing you.